Pompeii was an ancient city located in what is now the comune of Pompeii near Naples in the Campania region of Italy. Pompeii, along with Herculaneum and many villas in the surrounding area, e.g. at Boscoile, Stabii, was buried under 4 to 6 meters of volcanic ash and pumice in the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Largely preserved under the ash, the excavated city offered a unique snapshot of Roman life, frozen at the moment it was buried, although much of the detailed evidence of the everyday life of its inhabitants was lost in the excavations. It was a wealthy town, with a population of around 11,000 in AD 79, enjoying many fine public buildings and luxurious private houses with lavish decorations, furnishings and works of art which were the main attractions for the early excavators. Organic remains, including wooden objects and human bodies, were interred in the ash. Over time, they decayed, leaving voids that archaeologists found could be used as molds to make plaster casts of unique, and often gruesome, figures in their final moments of life. The numerous graffiti carved on the walls and inside rooms provide a wealth of examples of the largely lost vulgar Latin spoken colloquially at the time, contrasting with the formal language of the classical writers. Pompeii is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is one of the most popular tourist attractions in Italy, with approximately 2.5 million visitors annually. After many excavations prior to 1960 that had uncovered most of the city, but left it in decay, further major excavations were banned or limited to targeted, prioritized areas. In 2018, these led to new discoveries in some previously unexplored areas of the city. Pompeii was built approximately 40 meters, 130 feet, above sea level on a coastal lava plateau created by earlier eruptions of Mount Vesuvius, 8 kilometers, 5.0 miles, distant. The plateau fell steeply to the south and partly to the west into the sea. 3 layers of sediment from large landslides lie on top of the lava, perhaps triggered by extended rainfall. 11. The city, once by the shoreline, is today circa 700 meters, 2,300 feet, inland. The mouth of the navigable Sarno River, adjacent to the city, was protected by lagoons and served early Greek and Phoenician sailors as a haven port, later developed by the Romans. Pompeii covered a total of 64 to 67 hectares, 160 to 170 acres, or about 1/4 of a square mile, and was home to 11,000 to 11,500 people, based on household counts. 3. The inhabitants of Pompeii had long been used to minor earthquakes, but on the 5th of February 62 AD a severe earthquake did considerable damage around the bay, and particularly to Pompeii. It is believed that the earthquake would have registered between 5 and 6 on the Richter scale. On that day in Pompeii, there were to be 2 sacrifices, as it was the anniversary of Augustus being named Pater Patriae, father of the country, and also a feast day to honor the guardian spirits of the city. Chaos followed the earthquake. Fires caused by oil lamps that had fallen during the quake added to the panic. The nearby cities of Herculaneum and Nuceria were also affected. Between 62 AD and the eruption in 79 AD, most rebuilding was done in the private sector, and older, damaged frescoes were often covered with newer ones. For example, in the public sector, the opportunity was taken to improve buildings and the city plan, e.g. in the Forum. An important field of current research concerns structures that were restored between the earthquake of 62 and the eruption. It was thought until recently that some of the damage had still not been repaired at the time of the eruption, but this is doubtful, as the evidence of missing Forum statues and marble wall veneers are most likely due to robbers after the city's burial. The public buildings on the east side of the Forum were largely restored and were even enhanced by beautiful marble veneers and other modifications to the architecture. Some buildings like the central baths were only started after the earthquake and were built to enhance the city with modern developments in their architecture, as had been done in Rome, in terms of wall heating and window glass, and with well-lit spacious rooms. The new baths took over a whole insula by demolishing houses, which may have been made easier by the earthquake that had damaged these houses. This shows that the city was still flourishing rather than struggling to recover from the earthquake. In about 64, Nero and his wife Poppaea visited Pompeii and made gifts to the Temple of Venus, the city's patron deity, probably when he performed in the Theatre of Naples. By 79, Pompeii had a population of 20,000, which had prospered from the region's renowned agricultural fertility and favorable location. We visited Pompeii on a rainy weekday and there were few other visitors. Unfortunately, this was the only day we could go to the ruins. Bad luck for us. Pompeii is very busy during weekends, public holidays and school holiday, particularly in the warmer months. The winter climate is fairly mild in this part of Italy, so you can visit all year round.